We are live.
We're alive.
I was just about to say that.
Bow-legged women.
All right. Hey, we are off and running. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody?
Greetings.
Well, great.
Wonderful.
Couldn't be better.
Yep.
I'll tell you, this is great. We got a packed house. I feel like every bad episode of the Brady Bunch right here. You know, look at this. Look up, look down, kind of.
This is like the Timu version. You know, just like,
Hi, Jamie.
Wait.
hey, what's happening? Okay.
That's great. That's
Girl
great.
named Janie. Her hair's in curls.
Well, you know, we typically don't have this many people on at one time. It's usually like 3 or 4, and 3 of them happen to be us, or 4 of them happen to be us. So having a full house on is a lot of fun because at the least, they don't all have to look and listen to me the entire night. So I'm going to be passing things off to some of you guys. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. So at any rate,
Anytime.
very cool. All joking aside, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone at home for hopping on and spending some time with us and hanging out with us for another fun Thursday night. And we got 2 people on with us tonight. We have Val on with us, Val's been on before. He's become definitely one of our close friends and one of our confidants and good old member of the Jaws family and Jaws Army here now. And we have our special guest of the night tonight. We have R.G. Henning joining us this evening, coming on to talk to us about his new book. So want to give a nice little thank you and nice little opening applause here for Ron.
Round of
Thank
applause.
you very
Round
much,
of applause.
Ron.
You're
Val,
too kind.
hanging out.
There it is. There you go. There you go. Super's got it.
Yes, absolutely. Love when we get people on, and love when we get people that are within the what I consider to be big contributors of the Jaws world. And obviously, if you're putting in the effort in what you're doing now and what you've released, you definitely have a lot of invested beyond financial investment, but personal investment.
Yeah.
And right here with the investment, and that's what's cool.
Amen.
So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. And I'm going to let it go straight to my ego that everybody's here tonight because of me, right? Is that why?
Yes.
Because of me.
100%.
Right. That's what I'm going to tell my wife at least. That's what I'm going to tell my wife.
I just wanted to be on camera. That's it.
I'm a fan of the broadcast, and if I don't watch live, I usually catch it up in the rear. So thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You.
Wonderful. We have a couple people saying hello to you here. We got John saying good evening.
John.
Join us all the way from Scotland.
Hey.
The island. Awesome.
And
there's the other Scottish.
Our other island boy, Robert McGinn, is
McGinn.
joining us. And not seeing over on my page yet. I'll hop over there in a minute. But yeah, so great to have you. Great to have you on here. I've been trying to deep dive your book and check some things out.
Sure.
And stuff. And the book aside, you've always had a big presence across the pages. And I know that you do things beyond just, say, the Jaws realm. You have a whole other thing going on. But just very cool to see other people, people who I've seen, names I've seen, we met one time.
Right.
To kind of have you on here and be able to actually sit down and have a conversation because, as you know, it's kind of tough to do sometimes. So
yeah, let me just say real quickly. I mean, I really appreciate what you guys do because I feel like so when I get into something, I really get into it. So I appreciate that you guys are really into Jaws. You're not lukewarm. You're hot. And I think that you guys are great ambassadors for the film. And one of the things that baffles me, because I'm pretty much a freak about the movie, but you guys just might have me beat in certain areas. And one of the things that really impresses me is that you guys do this every Thursday, and at least most Thursdays, certainly. And I find that nothing short of impressive. So thanks for being such great ambassadors to the movie that we all love so much.
Well, greatly appreciate it. I think we all. I feel that we all.
I really do.
Like I said last week, there's never enough Jaws content. There's never enough Jaws content.
It really is. Yeah. And it, without sounding sappy or anything else, I really feel that I look for more of these type of things. I look for the newer book releases and, the new things that are coming out, the documentaries, the other people that are coming up and really getting engaged with it, because we have this love for something that's been around for so long, and we love and cherish everything that's out there and want to get our hands on it all. But to have anything relating to new content or goes in a different direction, is just so neat. In 50 years, it's not overlapping each other.
Right.
It's like all different avenues here, and that just to me just keep things going and fresh. And I mean, not that I wouldn't be into it if it didn't happen, but the fact that it's still thriving the way that it is just it's really nothing short of amazing. The fact that we're here, I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Sorry, Nate. I mean, before I lose my thought, I was like, it's adding on to its longevity.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
100%. 100%.
It was interesting. It was interesting to watch Spielberg's recent interviews, which did not make my book. Unfortunately, I was a month too early on it. But I don't know if you caught the interview at the Jaws Museum where he was being interviewed by CBS, and he says now, 50 years removed, and boy, do I lament not having this quote in the book, especially in one of my chapters that deals specifically with how he negotiates through the movie today. But he said that he's got now nothing but fond memories about the movie, because 5 decades has eliminated all of that rancor, all of that hardship and PTSD that he went through. And it's so awesome to see how this movie affects and changes individuals even over the course of 5 decades. Because I think we'd all agree, notwithstanding modern technology, the movie still stands on its own today, 50 years removed. I just went and saw it in IMAX with people who never saw it before, and it still stood the test of time. But I digress on that. It was just interesting to see how Spielberg has changed over 50 years. And when I was doing research for the book, and you can cut me off if I'm babbling, but the Spielberg we get in 78, 79 is not the Spielberg you get in 1995 or even 2012.
No.
Watching his progression, watching his attitude change about this movie that we all love so much, beyond just the popcorn spectacle, it's kind of cool to watch. It's, I guess you could say, life-changing in so many different ways, so not the least of which with the director. So
absolutely. We do a few more comments coming in, and then let's jump into your book. I apologize, Janie. I mean to step on your toes there. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go.
We've got Adam joining us from Sydney, Australia. Hello, Adam. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us.
Good day.
We got MS. I'm not sure who MS is, but hello, Fanatic. So thanks for hanging out with us. Very cool.
Okay.
And then over on my page, we got James Scott joining us once again. He's one of our regulars.
Nice.
So yeah,
Hey,
very,
James.
very
welcome,
cool.
one and all.
Maybe if we do the show in Europe, we'll get some Americans to comment.
Hey, how about that, right? Reverse psychology there, right?
It can happen.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Very well could.
Road trip.
Well,
Agree.
I'm ready.
Be like the Griswolds. Okay.
Ron, why don't we dive into some meat here behind your book? Because very interested in some of the things that I've been seeing and some of the feedback I've been seeing from people as well. So what spurred you that you were like, you know what? I want to dive into this and put this down on paper, because that's a big jump to take. It really is.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Sometimes I just have a bad piece of pizza at night, and it makes me think crazy things. And I just decided one day, I really love Jaws. It goes without saying. I know I'm in good fellowship there, and I love Steven Spielberg as a man and as a director. I think he's a class act, and I think he's the consummate artist. I'd be lying to you if I said the 50th anniversary didn't have anything to do with it, because it did. It just put it on the forefront of my heart and my mind, because I'm the guy that watches Jaws certainly 3 or 4 times throughout the year, maybe a couple of times during the summer months. And this past year, with the 50th anniversary coming up, I'm a very nostalgic person. I should say real quickly. So I'm 55 years old. So I cut my teeth in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And so those movies of that time frame really resonated with me, and you name it, whether it be The Exorcist or Raiders or Jaws. And Jaws is the creme de la creme for me. So I wanted to write this book because I am a writer. And the last last year or so, I've been really fixated on Jaws just because of the 50th anniversary coming up, my love for Spielberg and my love for the movie. And I'll be honest with you, I'm always a guy that's working on a project, and I found myself with a 7-month window where I didn't have a project I was working on. So this was a labor of love, a personal passion project, and I decided to put pen to paper, as it were. I had been collecting.
Uh-oh.
Froze up once. That's all right. Might just have an internet signal. He'll be back in a second. No big deal.
Jaws for decades. I was right.
There he is.
Sorry. Sorry about that. Maybe I'm buffering every 5 or 10 minutes. I apologize.
That's quite all right.
I might have a sexy microphone, but I got a lame laptop. So thanks. Anyways, I don't mean to ramble on, but basically the 50th anniversary really sparked the fire that I already have, but it just and I was available to do a project, and this was just a labor of love and a passion project for me. So
incredible.
Yeah, it's what and I'll be honest with you, it's the one book that this is my third book. I've written 6 books. 3 are theological, and then 3 are cinematic. This is the first book that my wife actually wanted to read every chapter. Usually she does it because she doesn't want to get a divorce, but yeah, but this was the one that she really enjoyed because she's a Jaws fan, not like me, but a Jaws fan. So it was fun to have her on my side.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I did see that, you were talking about, how the 50th kind of helped propel some of that along.
Yep.
You trip to the vineyard. Obviously, a bunch of us were there.
Yep.
I think that you had mentioned something in your book early on that I think were Spielberg's words, where he said this wasn't a Hollywood movie; it was a Martha's Vineyard movie.
Yeah.
And to me, it makes a stronger connection that when you're there, because you truly get that essence.
Oh man, I don't want to be a geek here, but I know that I'm speaking to my fellow geeks, so I can get away with this. But it was when I was on Martha's Vineyard. That was the second time I'd been to the vineyard. The first time was 2009. This was the first time I'd been there with all the hoopla, and it was a spiritual experience for me. I'm not making that up. I swam in the Alex Kintner Ocean right where they filmed his death scene, more or less, give or take. And I just had the time of my life. And Martha's Vineyard hasn't really changed much, as we all know, over the decades. And there's something to be said about that and retaining the luster of Jaws. So that was a spiritual experience for me. And I'm glad I at least got to meet a couple of you guys, even if only in passing, walking up and down the main avenue there. It was great to see you guys there.
Yeah, it really was. It was the highlight, and I'm sure people have been tired of hearing me say that. That was the highlight of my trip. As much as I loved all the Jaws 50 things, the highlight of my trip was meeting people that I've been talking to for years, spending time with people one-on-one, people I'd never met, I hung out with Val. I've seen his name float around a couple times, but just whether it was just a very quick, hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Oh, you're so-and-so. Oh, okay. Draws up a couple of memories. Or if it was someone I was able to sit down, like Jim Conway, he and I sat down, one night at Offshore Ale for like an hour or two, and we met the following day and met a couple of people. We went and jumped off the bridge, or went and did this, or went and did that. And to me, that just was such a magical time. I just think that so much more enhanced the entire experience of the 50th.
Yeah.
Hold on to that forever.
That's the right word, man. Magical. That's the right word.
No kidding.
Magical.
110%.
Yeah, and you're walking up and down those streets, or even the beaches of Martha's Vineyard. You see everybody decked out in their Jaws gear, from young to old, middle age. Yeah, and let's be honest. If we were to take a poll, we probably all have, to a certain degree, different politics, different religious beliefs, different this, different that. But Jaws is the tie that binds all this diversity together. And walking up and down the streets of Martha's Vineyard on that weekend, and seeing everybody from every age group and pinstripes was It's great. It's a family, right? It's a family. Our little fish movie, is a family. So
That's what we refer to it as. We used to call it the Jaws Army for the longest time, and it has become the Jaws family. And we truly feel
I
that
agree
way.
with that. Yeah.
Truly feel that
I'm
way.
the aunt.
The older sister that doesn't stop.
I'm the older sister aunt. Yeah.
So let me can I interject because I
Yeah,
ordered
Val, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ron, I ordered your book on Tuesday or maybe Monday, and I got it yesterday.
oh, thank you.
And you and I, talked about it a little bit, but I immediately got into it, and it's such a unique perspective on the making of Jaws, even because you go back 50 years and you can see the progression of all the Spielberg interviews and what he says about it, and it pretty much is a terrific making of book using Spielberg's interview that you compiled, and it's thoroughly researched. You can tell. I love the layout of the book. The pictures in the book are terrific. Each chapter has a painting. I mean, did you draw those? Are those actual paintings?
They are not. I used a little of my computer artistic skills to make those.
Very cool. Very cool.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Reading through it, it's definitely one of the best Jaws books, and I've read them all. One of the best Jaws books. I read through it, but I've been reading a lot of it. One of the stories you told really hit home for me because I had a similar experience. In your introduction, you talk about how when you were 5 years old, that some neighborhood kids had seen Jaws, and you hadn't seen it yet, and they retold the whole story to you and got you all psyched up. The exact same thing happened to me when I was 12 years old in Jersey City. I didn't have any means to go to the theater to see Jaws, and it was the biggest movie out at that point. And I remember a little neighbor, like a 12-year-old kid, came over to me and told me the whole story of Jaws, and I was so psyched to see it. And when I finally saw it, it just blew my mind. So it's a very common theme that you hit a lot of common themes in that book, and that really touched me when I read that because I had.
Well, thank you. We're all of a certain age, and so we're relatively young, some younger than others when Jaws came out, and we all have that impressionable stage where we were at when that movie terrorized the nation.
I was 12.
I was 5,
Yeah,
and I saw it because back then parents were a little bit more lenient for a PG movie. I don't remember seeing it, but like Nate said in his interview with Ross, I remember really seeing the movie, even though I did see it in '75 in the drive-in. I really saw it on ABC in November 1979 when it premiered.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll never
was me.
forget that. That changed my life. My life. Yeah. And I footnoted in the book, but I actually, you can see it on YouTube where they actually do the promo, ABC promo for Jaws appearing in 1979. And Ernie is, I forget his last name, who did the famous voiceovers for ABC. It's just
Ernie Anderson.
Ernie Anderson. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Thomas Anderson's dad. Yeah.
Great.
That was actually in my notes because I wanted to say that. That is something that you and I have because that's my memory of it. I mean, it was ABC 1979.
That's it. How
I still have the audio cassette because I recorded it off the TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
I used to do that too. Tape it and listen to it going to sleep. Yeah, over and over again.
Nate, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking, Nate, how old are you?
I'm 52. I'm almost 53.
Okay, so we're in the same ballpark. So I was not.
Yep.
Oh, there he goes.
9. You were about 7 or 8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Technical difficulties, folks. Please stand by.
Right.
Oh, sorry about that. I was buffering again. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
I love it, Val.
That's crazy.
At AMC. We should all do like an episode of Police Squad at the end. We should all just freeze.
That's a deep cut, man. That's a deep cut. I like that.
But I just want to say it's a great book, Ron. Not blowing smoke. It really is. The layout, it's easy to read. You can go chapter to chapter, goes through the each progression of the production of the film, and it really is a great book. So kudos.
Thank you so much. I did write it the way that I would want to read it. That may not speak to every fan or every reader out there, but it is definitely the way that I like to read. So that kept me motivated. And I learned a lot while I was doing it as well. So that was probably one of the exciting things, because you think you know everything, and then you realize you don't know nearly as much as you think that you do.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
We do have a couple of comments. I'm just going to pop up real quick here, if you guys don't mind. We've got Doug chiming in saying, "Looking forward to my autographed copy." Very cool. Very cool. And yeah, he's sharing his story. So my neighbor who was 6 was afraid to go to the bathroom for the fear. So word got around the neighborhood. So I couldn't see it until 77 when I was 10. That's right. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's awesome.
And Robert saying, "I approve of the police squad."
Hey, Ron, do you have any plans to release it in hardcover? I would love a hardcover.
Not at this time. I can. Not at this time, to be honest with you. I'm kind of moving on to the next project as I speak, but we'll see. If there, as always, if there's a demand for it, you never know, right?
I demand it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just demanded it.
I love hardcovers, man. That's that the books last forever. I love it.
I totally appreciate that. A lot of people, they want it in Kindle. They want a soft copy.
Really?
Of it. Yeah. So that's something I get browbeat over quite a bit. So
I'm old school. I want to hold it.
I gotta hold it.
I'm old school. I want to
hold
flip the pages and
yeah.
I saw something somewhere. Any book worth having is worth having in hardcover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, now I better get on it then. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, there you go.
I can
It'll
read
go with the collection of all the other hardcovers we have about Jaws. So
That's
there you
okay.
go.
I appreciate that.
I just jumped all over Matt Taylor's new book. Well, it's not a new book, but the Memories of Martha's Vineyard
Re-release.
in hardcover.
Yes.
Beautiful hardcover. Beautiful. So glad I own 3 copies of that book, or 4, and finally it came out. I was able to get it in hardcover. It's terrific.
Wow.
You reference it in your book too, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And you're you had a guy write the forward. I'm pretty familiar with. I think I've met this guy. This guy once or twice. And I knew that if this guy wrote the wonderful forward that he did, that he really felt that he was being genuine, and what you're doing was pretty damn good. Hopefully,
Absolutely.
What's the M stand for?
Mike A. Smith. That's like, I think his real name's like Cornelius or something. I don't know. I'm not sure.
He was a real hero for me, and I appreciate that, Michael. First of all, I really put him in a jam. He doesn't know me from Adam. I've been following him in the groups, right? I follow him on the live stream and whatnot. He doesn't know me from Adam, and I come up to him on Martha's Vineyard, and I'm like, "Hey, I know you don't know me. Thank God I have a wife who's very sophisticated, because she tends to balance me out, because I come off like a goofball." And she was with me, but I was like, "Hey, Michael, you probably don't know who I am, but I'm the guy that keeps DMing you and asking you to write forward to my book. I know you don't know me from Adam, but he threw me an olive branch, and he's been nothing but courteous, nothing but supportive, and very timely. And so thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. And one of the reasons I was very thankful for you to write the foreword is because I do think that you're a great ambassador for the film, and you have taken the time to talk with me on the phone on more than one occasion to talk about this, that, and the other thing, and to bring me up to speed on stuff. And so I really do appreciate your support, and I appreciate your name and what you mean in the community. So thank you, my good sir.
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm honored you asked.
And we all echo those words as well. 110%.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, he let me come out of nowhere and come on and help him do a live show. So I figured, what the hell,
Yeah.
Really worked. Yeah.
Hell, I met him at a barbecue, and that was back in 2012, and here I am. So he's very generous.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I thought, I was just going to say, one of the things that I thought was really cool, this is going to sound really sappy, but it's true. And that is, from a distance, Michael didn't see me at all. We're in Martha's Vineyard, and I saw him with his wife holding hands going down Main Street. And I thought that was very touching. And I looked at my wife, and I remembered how much I love my wife. And I grabbed my wife's hand, just following his lead. So
That's the way to do it. I've got a original Amity Holiday Inn cup from Jaws 2 that I interviewed one of the extras for the Jaws 2 book. And as we left and said goodbye, I got some pictures of it as we left, as I've always done since our first date 20 years ago last week. I always open the car door. And as I was leaving, she called me and she goes, I saw you open your wife's car door. I said, yeah, I do that all the time. She goes, if you want that cup, come get it. So, see, not only is being chivalrous a good thing to do, but sometimes there are benefits.
Amen. That's right.
Good job, Michael. Good job.
Yeah. I had touched, and please just jump in, guys. I apologize. I going through and pulled out some things that I thought were really interesting, things you touched on, or at least maybe things that I wasn't aware of in your book, and just really kind of stood out to me. One of the things that you touched on, the story that we all know, is that Jaws was just, if you put it in the words of Richard Dreyfuss, as he so eloquently put it, why he didn't want to do the movie, because it was a bitch to shoot.
Yeah.
And it lived up to that standard. What was interesting is how you paralleled the fact that 2 or 3 other films that are along the same ledger as Jaws were just abominations to get through with production. And so it kind of paralleled, yet instead of sinking it, this tended to rise to the top. And then on top of that, the fact that, Spielberg, which you guys probably knew this and I didn't, I'm not the fat guy. These guys are, that he was worried and afraid that his movie would, if he stuck with Peter Benchley's novel, it would be a shark version of The Godfather, which, came out in 72, 73. And I was really kind of taken back by that because I never quite realized or, was aware of that. So very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the interesting things that I learned that I didn't know in the years, especially the last 9 months of research, that when I really kicked it into high gear. And with all due respect to Mr. Spielberg, he's contradicted himself over the years. It's impossible not to. But he was not a fan of the book at all. Now, today he says something a little bit different. He's a little bit more politically correct and cordial and courteous, and that's great. That's fantastic. He's an elder statesman, and I get it. But when he was 26 years old and he was writing his own draft of Jaws, he pretty much was annihilating the book, especially the first 2 acts. And he wasn't a fan of the character development. He wasn't a fan of the characters. His exact quote was, Peter Benchley did not like his characters. And I have that quote in the book. And because he didn't like his characters, they're easy to kill off. And he wanted to make them likable. And so it was really interesting for me what I learned, because it was just really interesting to watch Spielberg mature as a man over the decades, go from a 26-year-old to a 46-year-old to a 66-year-old and now a 76-year-old, and to watch how his attitude has changed, both about the book on which the movie was based, his relationship with some of the actors, the filming. It just never ceases to amaze me, and he's always maintained a level of class that I've really appreciated and I wanted to document. And one of the things, what you brought up, Nate, was there were these epic films that came out in the 70s, some in the late 60s, that did their studios in, that just crashed their studios because the budgets blew up and the talent wasn't available and the studios went under. Kurokal is probably the famous studio in our lifetime to go under because of they went all in on a big budget movie. It crashed and burned, and down went the studio. I don't think Jaws threatened Universal. They had too much skin in the game by this time, but a $9 million movie in 1975, especially one that was slated for $4 million, that was enough to really do some damage to a studio. And they stuck it out with this 26-year-old kid. Spielberg did say he never felt he was going to get fired because he had Sid Sheinberg in his back pocket. They were friends. Yeah. But it didn't mean that it wasn't going to ruin his career and do some serious damage to the studio. And it didn't, thank God. Yeah.
Well, and as you mentioned, he had talked about he felt like he was constantly going to get fired, and you hear you would hear Zanuck and Brown talk about, we shot this like it was a rogue, like a guerrilla movie, and it was a small production movie. And our attitude was, as long as you kept filming the camera, they weren't going to fire you. The movie was going to keep rolling. And I didn't know that there was the realistic side of that. And I read that. That you had in there that the actual heads of Universal were done. They wanted him out there. I knew that Sid Sheinberg went out there, pulled him aside, had a chat with him about, hey, what's going on with him? What do we got going on? I did not realize. I honestly thought that Spielberg didn't talk his way out of it, but because he was close with Sheinberg, said, hey, it's going. This is what I'm up against. It's working out. It's going to be wonderful. I thought Sid was more or less sent to be the headhunter from Universal, and luckily had a soft spot for Spielberg. I did not know that was realistic, because you always hear him say, Spielberg say, I wouldn't sleep at night because I thought they were going to fire me every day. I thought I was going to get fired. I didn't realize that it was actually that close of a threat, which makes sense when you look at the the numbers and the time that it took to do that. I did not realize that was actually true, though. So very interesting.
Oh, sorry about that. I was buffering again. I apologize. Please forgive my inadequate laptop.
That is quite all right.
Yeah.
That is quite all right.
I will say this, and I apologize, Nate, because I think I wasn't able to catch the last part of what you said. For that, I apologize. But the Sid Sheinberg section that I have in the book is my favorite part about the book. To be honest with you, when I was writing it, it was filler. I just thought I had to document it because it wouldn't be faithful to the story of Jaws if I didn't. But as I was documenting it and writing it, there was even a time I was a little bit teary-eyed, especially my last quote of Spielberg about Sid Sheinberg and what he meant to Spielberg, because Sheinberg did have his back. Spielberg does name the executive who was going for his head. I mentioned the executive in the book. And were it not for Sid Sheinberg and that relationship that this 26-year-old kid had, we wouldn't have the Jaws that we have today. Sid Sheinberg, as you guys probably know, he was giving Spielberg a way to bow out gracefully. He said, hey, we're not going to fire you. We'll just shut down production. You just need to let me know. Can you pull this off? And he goes, I can. You just need to give me a little bit more time. And kudos for Sid Sheinberg, the president of a major motion picture, to a 26-year-old kid who still has acne, and him saying, okay, it's all yours. Man, he saw something in that guy, and rightly so. So
that was a lot of faith. That was a lot of faith writing on that.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm 55 years old now, I look back at a 26-year-old and I'm like, we got to change their diapers, right? And I mean, and to think, I know that Spielberg already had some skin in the game. He came in '69. He made a great impression with TV, and he had already a major motion picture under his belt, as well as a TV movie. I get all of that. But for at the time, a $4 million major motion picture with all eyes on this set, because it was based on a national bestseller, for that guy to stick it out with this 26-year-old kid, I think is just doggone impressive. So it's my favorite part of the book is what I'm getting at. Because I feel like Spielberg was just very earnest and honest talking about him, and still is to this day.
Yeah, going back to the book, Ron, in your book, you talk about how Spielberg says how he basically added the first two acts of the film. He added, I think he said 27 scenes, I think you said. And I've read the book, and everything that they took out of the book was a smart decision. They pared it down to this great seafaring adventure. You didn't need all that other mafia stuff and the romance. And, it's like every decision Spielberg made was that perfect decision for that film, because it all worked out. There wasn't one bad decision he made.
Yeah. Well, he knew that the shark was the star of the movie.
Right.
And he didn't want to lose sight of that. At the same time, he didn't want to make a shark movie. He wanted to make a character study with a shark in it. And that required some neutering of the book. And as I said, when he was a young man, he really wasn't a fan of the book. He was a fan of the idea, but not the first two acts. It was the third act that he was addicted to and that he desperately wanted to see in the movie. That's why the third act is an hour long on the film. The other two acts are 30 minutes apiece, and he dedicates an entire hour to that. See, so very brief. Yeah.
The Brody character really is different in the book. It's really unlike
Very different.
Really,
Sure.
he says
Even Ellen.
he says horrible things to his wife and the
Oh, yeah.
dreams that he's having. I'm like, woo. But the movie, everybody loves Roy Scheider in that movie. But
let me ask you guys this: the Jedi Council, if you don't mind. Let me ask you guys this:
The Jedi Council.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, because you guys are obviously authorities in the movie, so you probably
And
know
you obviously don't hang out with us enough if you're calling us that. You go right ahead.
Spielberg wanted, as you know, Spielberg originally wanted Lee Marvin as Quint. Right now, we all know that Robert Shaw, he pulled it off, home run, all that. But my goodness, that would have been inspired casting. Isn't there a part of you that wants to see Jaws with Lee Marvin as Quint?
he would have been great. He would have been.
No, I don't think so. No,
all right.
No,
I'm not going to ruffle any feathers.
If they were to ever recast, and I don't know if everybody's going to yell at me at this, but if they were to ever recast, and they're never going to do this, Spielberg has already said it will never be remade as long as he's alive.
Yeah.
But if that was the case, I want someone pretty damn close to how Robert Shaw can be, and I'm choosing Liam Neeson.
Interesting. Well, he could probably pull it off. They all have the chops for it.
Off.
They do.
I mean, but nobody here thinks that Lee Marvin would have been.
I do, Ron. I think Lee Marvin would have did a great job.
Gosh,
I mean, look, we're all familiar. We're saying this because we know how Robert Shaw did, and he was terrific, and you can't imagine anybody else in that role. But if you're familiar with Lee Marvin's films and the way he carried himself in those films, he could have pulled it off. A different version of Quint, not as salty, maybe not as seaworthy, but I think he would have did a good job.
Yeah, and I can't, I mean, the performances of those top three guys, I mean, they were in rarefied air, all three of them. I mean, Richard Dreyfuss.
Exactly.
Wait, freeze
frame.
Freeze frame.
Difficulties, please hold on.
He was on another level.
There you go. He was.
Am I back?
Sorry,
man.
You're back.
Good grief. That's the computer God saying stop talking, for crying out loud. Anyways, those three guys were in rarefied air.
Perfect. It was perfect casting. But we say this with hindsight because the film in our eyes is perfect. It had perfect casting, perfect everything. Yeah. I can't imagine Jaws with anything changed. So I mean, it's ingrained.
And I write a chapter in the book on the casting of Jaws, right? And this is the one area where Spielberg has contradicted himself over the years because he maintains that Richard Dreyfuss was his number one draft choice, and then actually it wasn't, and whatever, But they really nailed it with the casting, didn't they? I mean, good grief. So,
and I'm not. It's not that I disagree with you that Lee Marvin would not do an awesome job. He would have done a phenomenal job. He is the hardened, grizzled dude to play that role. But with Lee Marvin in that role, do you think they would have killed him off? Do you think they would have let him live? That's what rings with me. It's not that I wouldn't want to see him there, but I think that might have influenced the outcome of his character in that movie. Yeah. I really, really do.
It's interesting here, a little tidbit for you. Lee Marvin is on record. He was on a TV interview. I think it was Dick Cavett with Charles Bronson. And I found it on YouTube, but I couldn't find it when I was writing the book. But he actually comments and says that he wouldn't have touched Quint in a million years after seeing Robert Shaw play him.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, you can't argue with it. You can't argue with that. So
there it is.
How is he not nominated for an Oscar? How is he not nominated for a supporting actor Oscar for that film?
Yeah,
it blows my mind.
Yeah,
especially after the speech. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If I could just interrupt, I apologize. We have a bunch of comments. I would feel remiss if we didn't maybe include a couple of these, if we could, please, guys. Thank you very much. We've got Robert. Doug jumping in and saying, let me pull it in here, jumping the gun a bit. But do you think there will be a 50th 4K of Jaws 2? I would venture to say yes, there probably will be.
You mean in theaters? There is already a 4K. There's a 4K version of Jaws 2 already.
There is a DVD, right?
So
I would think they would do a 50th. I mean, I don't know. And then I have Robert's joining in, saying, to be honest, after watching the film, I find it difficult to read the book myself because of how unlikable the characters are.
Yeah.
I've often
Yeah.
said
Always.
in the climate we have today and with the way we watch TV today, Jaws would make it as a streaming show on Netflix or something. The book.
The book, yeah.
As a series, not
Yeah.
as a movie.
All the intrigue.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the side plots and but we've got, let's see. We got Christy Capone jumping on. She's saying, I
my
feel that
wife.
Jaws was a suspenseful film, not a horror film, although it scared us. Yeah.
That's true. I actually deal with that in the book, that it's somewhat of a genre busting movie. It's hard to classify it, right? We still debate it to this day.
I don't think you guys think it's horror. Do anybody here think it's a horror film? I never.
When I was 5
I
years
know.
old, yeah.
It's action adventure.
Action with suspense. I never thought of it as horror. I don't know.
Well, when you can't go in the deep end of a pool or take a bath, it's a horror movie. But that at the same time, I think it's. I wouldn't class. I mean, I was 5 years old, so it depends on my age, and then I'll give you the genre. Now, I consider it a character drama with suspense.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree. With a little bit of adventure wrapped in there. You almost have to look at it as 2 or 3 films. You could look at maybe a little bit more, like especially the character drama, say like that first half, but then you get into like the second half of the film, and you can almost go adventure.
That's right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's exactly an adventure film. It's exactly what it is.
Correct.
100%.
Correct.
You definitely have 2 movies. You could make an argument for 3, but you certainly have 2 movies. Those 3 acts those 3 chapters are just incredible. Just incredible.
Yep.
Yeah. Doug is asking about what we were just touching on with Quint. Did Spielberg have doubts, though, often repeated about blowing up the shark at the end? If I had them this long, they'll go along with it. Indicates that he was confident. So I guess you're asking was he always going to do that? I think that was really the realization that he came to the point where he eventually really collided over it.
Yeah.
It was Howard Sackler who told Spielberg, you got to blow up the shark. And because you needed something spectacular at the end. Spielberg said, you know what, if I've had them for this long, they're going to believe blowing up a shark. So he was they knew they had to have a big ending. Eventually, as you know, he was not a fan of that. It was a complete divorce from the book. And it is what it is. I went in the book. I think the shark drowns, right? They
harpoon.
Kind of like Moby Dick. Yeah.
Very Moby Dick-ish.
But if you look at the footage of Ron and Valerie Taylor, who did the shark footage, and you look at that one shark that got caught in the cage, and you look at all the footage that they had, not just the clip in the movie, but
Oops. Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
That's all right. He'll come back. Come on. Did you guys ever watch Max Headroom?
Yeah.
Yes, always loved that.
because I remember the shark drowns in the movie.
Yeah,
All good, Ron. All good, Ron.
Shut up.
You're just
I'm sorry.
You're just gonna have to go back on YouTube and listen to everything we say behind your back every time you freeze up. So we'll let that be your surprise, okay?
Yeah.
That's our gift to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to sell more books so I can get a new laptop, for crying out loud.
One thing about that scene that you were talking about the filming that the shark getting caught up in the cage. Because of that footage, he changed the fate of Hooper. Hooper was gonna die. And because of that footage, they changed the entire film and let him survive.
And you don't care. And you don't care that Hooper dies in the book because he's just the only likable character. The only likable character in that novel is Meadows, is the newspaper editor.
Right.
Everybody else like
Well, it was the product. Oh, I forget his name. Bill. I forget his name, but his famous quote. And it's in the book. A great white shark off the coast of Australia. A 12-foot shark off the coast of Australia rewrote our ending. Rewrote our film. Okay. Yeah, they rewrote the whole ending because of that footage. So,
and it was a smart move. How would the film have worked if Hooper had died? I wonder.
Janie would have been very, very sad. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm always glad when Hooper lives.
I mean,
yes. We're very pro Hooper on this show. Yes.
All right, JD.
There was You know, there was one death scene in the book that I often wished would have made it into the film. And not just because of the scene, but because of the reaction of some of the characters in the book. And I want to say Meadows was there on the scene when it happened. So there was a death in the scene where I want to say it was, I don't know, was it the boy's son? Or maybe it was the father that died? And it was in the book. It's been forever since I've read it. Maybe it was the father, and I can't remember. But basically, the report, I think Brody shows up and he says, he's out in the water and they were having a good time. They were doing this, and the shark came in and he hit him, and he got real graphic, and he kept saying, and he just kept effing hitting him and just going after him and tearing him apart, and it sounded like such a dramatic scene. Not a shark attack like that wouldn't be, but the way it was touted in the book, I thought that would have made for a pretty impressive shot, because
maybe
let's face it,
graphic. Maybe it would have been.
Yeah, well, might have been, but when you look at, and Ron alluded to this in the book, when you look at things like the Alex Kintner scene,
right?
Yep. How many movies do you remember from then where little kids getting chewed up?
That's right.
Any movie,
horror
movie,
normally in those
seriously,
not on screen. They make it the kill off screen, but not on screen like that.
Right.
And Ron even said, that really solidified the seriousness of the film. Not that Chrissy's didn't, because let's face it, if Chrissy's scene wouldn't have worked, people would have been like, this is going to be a joke. But having him be taken on film was just, as a kid, just scared the hell out of you, because let's face it, it was only adults getting killed off,
So I have to tell you, I went and saw it in IMAX 2 weeks ago in the re-release.
4 times.
Okay. Well, I had never seen Jaws in IMAX. I had only seen it on the big screen once before. That Alex Kintner kill in IMAX, I don't know if this is the right word, but this is the word that I'm going to use. It was breathtaking. It was violent, and it was visceral. I mean, something gets lost on the small screen, but when you see that kill of a 10-year-old boy and that blood just splash about, and it was visceral. It was breathtaking, man. It was. I was like, wow. Of all the scenes in the movie, that was the one that I felt the most in IMAX.
Did anybody see it in 3D?
I did.
I did.
Not this time around. I did when it came out. It was a year or two ago.
It was very subtle. It was a very subtle conversion. It had very nice depth. A couple of pop outs, like when Quint's on the mast and he's looking down at Hooper plane. It looked really like gave you a little bit of vertigo, but it was a really nice, subtle conversion. Not like the gimmicky kind of 3D. No, it just puts you sea level, and you felt like you were there on the boat. It was pretty amazing. But my preference is IMAX. IMAX is the best way to see it. It was spectacular.
I'm not a 3D fan, honestly. When we were kids, it got overdone, and even the newer ones, like when I would take my son to see, like, I don't know, whatever, a 3D Pixar film, after about 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm done with this. I mean, it's over. And it was very, very tastefully done in 3D. I was really worried putting Jaws in 3D was going to be a detractor, and they really did it well. They handled it with kid gloves. I was very impressed.
Spielberg had, a lot of say in how they converted it, and
sure.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Steven Spielberg. He's very protective of his films, even though he feels he made a mistake with E.T. when he changed out the guns for walkie-talkies. Right. But I love the fact that he doesn't go back to revisit his films like other directors might, George Lucas, and he doesn't. He feels that they're a time stamp, and they are what they are. And I appreciate the reverence that he has, even.
Technical difficulties, please stand by.
That's all right. Robert's commenting here about the 3D. We'll pull up till he comes back. No problem. Yeah. Proper 3D. How to Train Your Dragon. Haven't seen that, Robert.
I want to see how
Clash of the Titans came out shortly after Avatar, and it wasn't meant to be released in 3D, so they did a really quick, terrible conversion, and it looked horrible. But as the years went by, a lot of 3D conversions are really great, like Top Gun, Titanic. There's a lot of, very few films actually filmed in 3D. Most of them are conversions, but they've gotten a lot better at converting them now.
Yeah. Ron, I apologize. We weren't trying to cut you off there, buddy. We were just kind of pulling up a comment there real quick.
No, it's all good. I've been babbling anyhow. So
I have another question for Ron. Ron, what was if you had to pick one thing you learned about Jaws from writing the book and all those interviews that you didn't know before? What would you think? What would you say that was that you never knew?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, let me think about this. Gosh. I think? Boy, let me circle back to that because right now I might be a little camera shy because I keep thinking, but I know that there's a number of things that I did not know going in. I thought that I knew it all, right? And I realized how much I didn't know. From the top of my head, call me gun shy. I can't think of an example, but I'm sure it'll come to me. I mean, I knew, gosh. Well, I guess I didn't know. I mean, this is inane trivia. This is nothing big, but I didn't know that they had to film Chrissy's death on 2 different beaches because she was nude in one of them, and they had to have a private beach.
Yeah, I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, well, this little stuff like that I didn't know going in. But I mean, right, for anything bigger than that, what's going to happen is I'm going to be taking a shower tomorrow, and I'm going to go, oh my gosh, I should have talked.
Send me a message, Ron. Send me a message tomorrow. That's it.
I will. Otherwise, I think I know everything. Right?
I'll put it on our TikTok account.
Yeah.
All of a sudden at 2:45, he'll wake up and go, oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay, I do have an answer for you. I do have it. Thank you for your grace. Okay, my favorite scene in the entire movie, hands down, soup to nuts, beginning to end, is the pier incident. Right? The dock scene. I love that movie. That turns the movie into a film as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome.
Okay. So you guys probably knew this. I did not know this. So the 2 actors, the 2 locals who are playing the fishermen, they were dubbed, right? It wasn't their
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were
ADR,
dubbed over.
yeah.
And you can kind of tell by the audio. It's too clear of audio, but whatever. But what I didn't know is that the guys who dubbed, they were overdubbed a 3rd time in the studio. So I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, it was a triple double. It was a triple dubbing of that scene. And it was apparently, according to Carl Gottlieb, it was a real hellish scene. The guys wanted to do their own stunts, and it didn't go well. They thought it was the worst disaster part of making the movie. Not Spielberg, but some of the production guys, and it turned out to be probably one of the keynote scenes. But I did not know that those actors were not only dubbed once, but they were dubbed twice. The dubbing actors weren't good enough. They had to bring in a second pair. So
very interesting.
Man.
Yeah.
That's when you need that little star that says "the more you know." Right there.
Yeah. It's interesting too. And talking about the pier incident, because I talk about this a little bit in the book. Sometimes Steven Spielberg is a benefactor of serendipity. The shark not working makes the movie better. And so,
correct.
He'll talk about how also at the other side of his mouth, he'll talk about how he didn't want the shark to be seen. And here's what I'm saying. His script showed the shark in Chrissy's death.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
When the shark wasn't working all the way up to the pier incident, they came up with things to obviously replace the shark. In this case, it would be the dock and whatnot. And he kind of cracks me up because he kind of takes credit for that. But he says, well, I had the vision. I didn't want to show the shark. The shark isn't supposed to come until the 3rd act. But that's not exactly true, because if you look at the script, they had the shark at the beginning and it just wasn't working. So he kind of takes a little credit for that. I think that's kind of cute. Cracks me up a little bit. I guess I would too after 50 years. But the truth of the matter is the shark wasn't working. That's why they didn't show it. But
and then he blamed it on Lucas breaking it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. We've all heard that story.
Yeah, Lucas was there.
We do have a couple more comments kind of pertaining to some of what we've been saying here with some relevance here. So Robert's saying, I do know that they filmed during a cloudy day, which was they filtered to look like night. Yeah, a lot of day for night shots. I believe you can now find the raw unedited lighting scene of Chrissy's death. Well, if you watch the 4K release, you can tell that the day for night is much more clear now and much less of an effect. And I'm pretty sure that you can actually see the day scene of her not necessarily on the film, but you can track it down. Mike, isn't that right? I think you and I talked
yeah.
about that.
There are a number. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michael. I didn't mean to. Oh,
Mike, Mike.
Mike, you're muted, buddy.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, the dog was barking.
Yeah.
Back in my day, before there was home video, the only way if you wanted to see a parts of a movie, they used to release them on Super 8, and they did Jaws on Super 8, 20-minute condensed version. But when they printed it, the Chrissy scene, they didn't use a filter. So Jerry Gilbert, you might remember, John, he's kind of the Butnick all the time. He's the one who got me into collecting films. He got Jaws for me, and the opening scene, it was like, okay, I don't remember this in the movie because I'm seeing boobies. So it's like, yeah. So it just depends. I don't know if it was the processing or they just forgot about it or.
Oh, interesting. I know that you can see Chrissy's death, the daytime shots. They have it all almost in still photo. You can see, and I'm talking the footage, not behind the scenes, actual footage where it's daytime, and that's interesting to watch. They shot that. I think if memory serves me right, they shot that over a period of 4 days. They needed the sunset to be very specific, and they needed what did they say? A white sky. You have to check my quote. And they got it all 4 days. That was the one day where they didn't have any problems shooting day for night. And the sky cooperated big time. They thought the whole movie was going to be gravy because of that. That it was going to be easy. That everything was going to fall into place. Although Spielberg said it was still a difficult scene to shoot. All the quote unquote stars lined up perfectly for them over the course of 4 days. Wasn't the case when they did the pier incident and any other night for day shooting or day for night shooting. It was pretty difficult.
Well, let me just say that we had a Super 8 as a kid, and now knowing that the unfiltered version of Chrissy was on the Super 8 one, my 8-year-old self is smacking my 52-year-old self in the back of the head for not knowing that as a kid.
I'll send you mine, Nate. You really want to?
How long were those Super 8 versions? What were they? 20 minutes, 30 minutes? What were they?
Oh, tops, yeah.
22 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's how you saw, Star Wars.
Interesting.
All that stuff. It was just, some highlighted scenes.
Cool. We've got Christy chiming in saying didn't know that they were dubbed at all. Yeah, a lot of overdubbing.
My wife's learning something new every day. Good job, honey.
Hey, see, look at that. We got a convert.
Yep.
The weirdest thing I learned lately is that Brody's kid, the Pontolet, was dubbed by the gal who played Rocky. Yep, Rocky Raccoon. You betcha. You can hear that really easy in that scene.
Jude Foray. Jude Foray.
Another famous dub in the movie. You guys already know this. I know that you do because you're scholars. But Richard Dreyfuss couldn't say Carcarian. No, I can't even say it. And he had, you can hear it when you're watching it. You can tell that there's a different sound. And that he had to go in the studio and redub that bad boy.
Hold on, settle a debate for me. Yeah. When Michael walks in the very beginning of the film and he holds up his hand, he says, "I got hit by a vampire." He doesn't say bit by a vampire. He says hit by a vampire.
Todd verified for that for us the other week.
Yeah,
right. But he said, "I think Todd said it. He said bit."
He said bit. Todd said bit.
He says hit. He clearly says hit by a vampire. It says, and the closed captioning, it says hit, and in the script it says hit. In the script, it says I got hit by a vampire.
But it's just as interesting as Brody then says, "You've been playing on those swings. I told you not to play on them." And then when he leaves, mom and kid are on the swing. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
it's like Ellen Brody when she goes, "I got Sean," and the next
I got Sean, and he's
on the beach.
hauling ass. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I love those little. They're terrific.
Yeah.
You totally get why when you're out in public, there's always some mom who is dead man walking and she's got some kid on a backpack with a leash connected to it because the kid would be gone if they weren't connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Ames is joining us here. He's chiming in saying coffee or it's coffee ice cream. I'm telling you, I will die on that hill.
It is.
Coffee ice cream. That was a
Yes.
favorite of mine as a kid.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Always has been. Yeah, coffee ice cream.
James Scott on Facebook suggested Daniel Day-Lewis play Quint.
Oh.
And Janie
James.
completely
Oh, he
agreed.
could do it. He could do it.
Oh, he could
He
pull
could
it
do
off. Are
it.
you
I
kidding
agree.
me?
Yeah.
Listen, after watching him in Gangs of New York alone.
Oh my God, yeah, that was.
Oh my gosh, does Bill the Butcher? Oh, he would do Quint.
He came out of
Absolutely.
retirement. He's
He
in a new film directed by his son. He came out of retirement.
Or he came
And
out of
he's-
retirement.
Yeah,
Yes,
came out of
he did.
retirement,
Yep.
and he's in a new film directed by his son.
And he's gray. He's
I think it's
gray
called
in the film. He looks like a Quint.
Enemies. I think it's called. That's the name of it.
Wow. Instead of him taking the knife on the fake eye, he would have the big fish hook on the eye. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That would be the scene.
Horrifying performance. So good.
Mm. Okay, and Doug is asking again. I'm sorry, you guys, if I have skipped over some of the comments. I am trying to kind of keep them in and keep them relevant along with the conversation. I apologize for asking again, but Dreyfuss thought Jaws was going to be a turkey. What did Spielberg think? Other crew members.
So
You guys can answer that. I've heard different things, so go ahead. Yeah.
So there were times, obviously, over the course of the 5-month production, nearly 6-month production, there were times when Spielberg, I actually
Quote him in the book.
This should be our next game show.
Whenever Ron freezes, we should all freeze too. Just like,
Yeah.
Sorry, Rod. You go right ahead. Sorry.
go ahead, Ron. Let's hear it.
So
No, go ahead, buddy.
I do have a quote in the book from Spielberg. I just can't remember the year that he stated it. That he said that he thought it was going to be a turkey. They thought the shark looked stupid and silly. That's what they
That had
thought.
to be early. That had to be early on. I mean,
Well,
early on in production, right.
They were completely traumatized by this thing. They couldn't see what you and I see. He credits Verna Fields with saving the movie with the right edits
Absolutely.
and taking out shark, but he thought it was silly. He feared the movie was going to be a turkey, but he didn't go public about that. Not like Richard Dreyfuss did.
Dreyfuss said it publicly after when he was supposed to be doing
Yes,
promotion for the film. That's what made everybody. It's like Tony Welch talk about Cocoon before it came out and how
Right.
crappy it was, and
Oh,
yeah,
really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
that's why
He took my head with a B movie. He thought it was going to be a B movie.
And I can't remember if it was Cavett or whose show he was on, but he was like, it was not Spielberg's fault. It was strictly Universal. There was an arbitrary date. There was no set script. I mean, he threw it out there. Like he thought the ship was going down. And so he was, and he also has the foresight to now go back and say, I shot my mouth off. I really thought with how much we struggled with it, that it was going to be a mess. And it was amazing. And he's the one that everyone talked about, that when they went to actually catch a screening of it, he's running and jumping in, what was it, Scheider's arms or whatever, going, oh my gosh, we did it. It's amazing. Yeah.
So, Ron, what did you think of the sequels?
I love Jaws 2. I think it's a worthy sequel. I think it's really well directed too. Although I would have loved to have seen John Hancock's his more
Version.
his darker version.
Yeah.
Because my favorite scene in the movie happens to be his shot of the shark under the dock at night. But love Jaws 2. Jaws 3, I think, is a great story, a silly movie. Jaws 4 is a great, let's get drunk and just slice our wrists. So I paid to see all 4 movies in the theater. No, that's not true. That's not true. I paid to see Jaws 3 and Jaws 4 in the theater. I was too young for Jaws 2. But so I don't really, with all due respect, I don't really consider Jaws 3 and 4 canon. I know they are because Lorraine Gary's in part 4, but Jaws 1 and Jaws 2, I think, are really good, reputable films. Jaws, of course, being the classic. I think Jaws 2 is an underrated sequel. I think it's some of the best directing, some of the shots that Schwartz was able to get, the water skis, and So I love Jaws 2. I'd give Jaws 2 a 8.5, Jaws a 10. Jaws 2 was a slasher film, only it was in water, and Jason was a shark, but I loved it.
Not that he's wearing a Camp Crystal T-shirt or anything, but
Right.
okay.
Well, if I could venture off topic, of your book, I actually have a couple of questions for you outside of the book, and this is strictly due to my personal interest. So apologize for my narcissism here, but you're talking about Jaws 2, and I happen to know that you dabble a little bit with modeling and dioramas.
Oh, wow.
That's true. Yeah, I made that diorama.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to. I'm a kind of a creative guy, so if I'm not writing, I'm trying to make something with my hands. Jaws being my favorite movie of all time. I've made a few dioramas, some better than others, and that's a Jaws 2 one I sold to a customer. I make these for myself, but I kind of get tired of looking at them, so I eventually sell them, and that one was sold before I even completed it. But yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Mr. Craftician, where I have about, 30 projects on there, dioramas and some other things, mostly dioramas and stuff. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Did you make the pilot Amish like in the movie with the
I know. I felt so bad about because I was commenting in a Jaws 2 page a couple of years ago, and I made fun of the beard, and the woman, the gentleman's daughter or wife was
Virginia?
Yeah, and I felt really bad. She was really a sweetheart about it, but she's just I made some kooky comment about the beard. I didn't really like the beard, and she was very respectful in her response. And from that moment on, I told myself I would never do that again. But yeah, and doesn't in the TV version isn't the beard gone when he's underwater? The stuntman, I can't remember because the TV version had.
I don't think you just can't see it because of the way that he's trying to get it out.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
He still has the beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you
lives
mean?
on the island.
Oh, I thought he passed away.
Jerry? No, Jerry's still alive.
Well, shame on me then for that. But yeah, that's
Yeah, because he lives on Martha's Vineyard.
Now, had I known that, I would have made that for him. And I mean that in all seriousness. Not that he would want it or anything, but
Oh, you might. I would if you had that post it on the Jaws 50 page because his son Mike is a member of the page.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really like this, but I have a favorite. Christine.
Yeah.
Ooh, Christine.
Oh,
Yeah.
check it out.
I have yep, incredible.
Yeah,
Love this one.
Thank you. I enjoyed that one quite a bit too. And I think
Technical difficulties. By the way, Christine makes a cameo appearance in Life of Chuck. If you see that new movie.
videos as much as I like doing the dioramas because I make it kind of a half more of a.
Yeah.
There we go. Am I back? Okay, good.
Yep.
Sorry, I
you
was
got
buffering. But anyways, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was a fun one to build.
Very cool.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely
That's a
Love
Jaws
that
2 connection,
movie.
brother.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
I spent many years messing around with models. I actually worked for a guy when I was in college. That's what he did. He was really into he was a judge and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, he did models for movie stars and musicians and stuff like that. And I was a minion down in his basement, and I really had a love for this and did this for a long time. And a lot of people want to see the nice, shiny, squeaky, clean ones, and the real work and the luster is what you're looking at down below.
Yeah.
Weathering and those things, and then trying to add the background to the diorama is a whole world onto its own that people just don't quite get and understand. So I just want to show my appreciation for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Great work. Great work. Look at that.
But if you think that's cool, you want to see a cool diorama. I don't have a great shot of it, but I did try and steal a little bit. So he's wearing the shirt. He's wearing the shirt. So it's a little take on a diorama that he made of Camp Crystal Lake.
So that's a coffee table. That's a coffee table, right? And it's kind of hard to see. There's a nice little video out there. I had the cabins. I made 3 of those bad boys for 3 different customers over the years. And the cabins were the first ones I did hand scratch or built by hand, and then the other 2 tables I ended up using 3D printing and stuff. And I had a blast with that.
I think they're filming a new Camp Crystal TV show.
They are. It's a series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In
fact, I'm going
in New Jersey. Filming in New Jersey.
Blairstown, and I'm going to be in Blairstown actually in 2 weeks. I go up there once a month. I sell my books up there. I work with some of the celebrities. I'm not trying to drop names or anything, but I'm pretty much a fanatic.
Are you doing book signings, Ron? Book signings?
Yeah. I was going to say you have a book on. You have a book for that too. Yeah.
I did a book on part 2 because I worked with the the cast at conventions for about a year or so, and then I did a book on part 3. They've both sold very well, and so what they do is they'll have me at Blairstown on Friday the 13th, and we just do book signings and hobnob, and it's all fun. So
when's your next book signing?
right now I don't have a book signing lined up at all. I just did one on June 13th up there in Blairstown, and that was really good. We had a couple of the cast members there. And so what they do is behind Blairstown Diner, which is in the very first one. That's why they have it in Blairstown. They just kind of set up some tables and have some talent and some creators there. And
if you do it again, let us know, man. Because
I will. It's a huge. You'd be surprised. The following of those films are as robust as Jaws, and I'm not kidding you.
Easily, yeah.
So,
and
that's
I'm sorry. I was going to say that the convention that Mike and I went to a few years ago in Lexington, Kentucky, which is a horror movie convention. Your books would do very well there, I think. Don't you think, Mike?
Oh yeah, and
yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty big convention. Scarefest.
Yeah, it's coming up next month.
October.
Next month, yeah. Oh,
thank you.
Very cool. We got one or two other people asking questions here. Trying to pull up here. So, back to the helicopter. It says that reminds me, helicopter in miniature. I can't imagine blades breaking up on a real helicopter. Would have been deathly dangerous. Someone told me it was real.
That was real in the movie.
Billy Van Zandt. Yeah, Billy Van Zandt told us that on the show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, of course, speaking of Keith Gordon, yes.
I said. What did I just say? Jaws.
Has Keith ever joined? Michael, has Keith ever been part of the Jaws 2 reminiscence? Like, I never see him like anywhere.
He's done one or two shows. He still works. He still directs. He's still in demand. Because I had to wait a while to get him for the Jaws 2 book because he was over in South Africa filming whatever show had Claire Danes in it.
He directed a great film called The Midnight Clear. It was awesome.
Yeah.
War film. Terrific.
Directed, yeah.
Great talent.
Yeah, he's super. I've been, always every month or so I'll email him and see if he wants to come on the show, but he's always doing something.
Bad.
And if she's unaware of it, Ron, we have a good friend of ours who's been on the show, Judy Pancoast, is a huge horror fan. I'm sure that she would love to talk to you and check out your book one.
Well, that's why my wife made me use a pen name, because my wife hates horror movies, hates it. And so this is probably more information than you guys care to know, but so by vocation, I'm a pastor, right? And so my wife is like, you can't, So my wife is like, you can't be writing horror movies. And I'm like, you can't be writing about horror movies. I'm like, I don't care. That's what I dig. So I wrote the book on 2023. I wrote a book on Friday the 13th, part 2, which happens to be my favorite in the series. And I was able to interview the cast, blah, blah, blah.
And furthermore,
and it's better than I expected. And I got my sorry. Am I back?
We're good, bud.
It's fun.
You're good. You're good.
All right. Okay.
This is hazing. Okay.
Really.
Favorite. We got it.
So I'm in the hot tub with my wife, and my wife is just completely embarrassed that I would write books about horror movies. She's what you call a Macy's girl, and I'm a Walmart guy. That's kind of how we're kind of polar opposites, right? So I got my first royalty check, and I told her, and she goes, "Well, you're going to write one on part 3 now, right?" Gosh. So I converted her pretty quickly, but she was all in on Jaws, though. She was all in on Jaws. She was very excited about this. It was her idea to go to Martha's Vineyard for the 50th, because it's not a cheap trip. It's not a cheap trip, of course, right? So, but she was all in for that, and she made me pay the money to get Richard Dreyfuss's autograph and a picture, because I was like, that's a little hefty, She goes, you do it. She ordered me to, and I said, hey, all right, if you're ordering me to. And you know what? She's right. I was wrong. No.
Ron, did you ever interview Ron Kurz?
No, he passed away. Yeah, he passed away before I could.
He was a theater manager. He worked for the years. He was already gone by the time I joined him. He worked for a local theater chain in Baltimore, but he wrote a great book called Black Rococo, which was a fiction. It's a fictionalized version of when the Big Brawl came out, and Jackie Chan came to Baltimore to do like a public appearance at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And he was watching on the morning news, and there were like 5,000 people lined up in front of the theater, and he was so scared he refused to go, and they trashed the theater.
Oh boy!
But yeah, it's a great book. It'd make a great film one day. I'd love to win the Powerball and option it. But
yeah, unfortunately, he passed away. He was the writer, for those of you who don't know, but he wrote part 2, and he wrote it under a pen name originally. But yeah, no, I never did. Regretfully, I never got a chance to. He passed away before I could. So, yeah. These movies. So they're whether it be Jaws or even a slasher film or even another personal favorite is The Thing, right? All of these movies take me back to 19 so-and-so, where I was anywhere between 10 to 16 years old, very impressionable, very young, and these movies had a profound impact on me then. Some of them don't quite stand the test of time like, say, Jaws does, but that's why I end up writing about these books or these movies. Just, I'm very nostalgic. Takes me back to when I wore a younger man's clothes, I guess.
Well, they're important stories that strike a chord with you because it was a niche in time of your life. And
yes.
That's what I often say. I would say that about John Williams' music.
Sure.
When I hear his music, I don't think about John Williams' music, and I don't think about Star Wars. I think about myself being, 8 or 9 years old, and sitting down, I don't know, whatever I was doing or watching. It's that little piece in time. It kind of takes me back to my life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I completely get that passion that you have and what drives you. Yeah.
It was interesting when I was writing this book on Jaws. These guys like Spielberg, they tell the same stories over and over again because it's only a finite amount of time that they're rehashing over the course of 50 years. And so it started to become a real labor to find original material that didn't talk about the shark not working or didn't talk about him about to be fired, or you're looking for these diamonds, these stories that have never been told before, or if they have been told, they're really rare. That's where the elbow grease came into play. And because after a while, I know how it is. I still tell the same jokes I told 30 years ago, right? And so I don't blame them for it, but it's really hard to get behind the scenes stuff that's not already out there or documented. That was a real chore for me, but we did it. At least I think we did. We did a decent job.
Laurent Boudreau, in that great documentary, one of the first things he asked Spielberg is there anything you haven't said about Jaws?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. Let's find out.
I got to tell you, that documentary, one of the things that had a real visceral impact on me was when he told the story. And I've heard him tell the story before, but I never saw it in his eyes like he did this time. And that was when he was telling the story about the actress that came to the island and just very cavalierly told him that he was never going to work again. All the talk back in Hollywood.
I didn't know that he said it was an actress. Do we know who it was?
Yeah, we don't know who it was. So he tells the story. He normally says actor, but in one particular case, he said actress. I thought it was in this latest one.
Wow.
But he leaned forward in that documentary and he said it was a really mean thing for them to do that. And you could see the hurt. You could see the 26-year-old kid who was all insecure. And just in that fleeting moment, to be honest with you, my book was about to go to press. I went and grabbed it and I said, I got to include that because to me, it just really impacted me. I told the story. I used the other quotes from the past to tell that part, but I used that quote because it just meant a lot to me. I really saw this is going to sound so stupid, but I felt like I saw his soul behind his eyes because he was like, that really
stuck with him.
Yeah.
Cut him like a knife.
That was a mean thing to do.
Yeah.
Think about
all the
when
time, and he probably didn't rub it in
I
their
wonder
faces.
where that actress is now.
Yeah. I mean, think about when you're that age or when we all were that age. First of all, we weren't walking, at least I wasn't walking around with that kind of I don't want to say authority, I guess more responsibility that he was at 26. And then to have things go awry the way that they did, and to have someone show up and do that, you're almost surprised he stuck with it.
Yeah.
You know, you think he would have just walked off and that would have been the end of it, probably the end of his career at that point.
I know. You know, he said in the book, or I quote in the book, he said that he had acne and his voice was really high pitched. And basically what he was saying is, I was a kid and these guys, he had a production crew of how many people? 100. And they were looking at him to be their leader, to storm the beach.
Yeah.
And he felt like he had their welfare, their livelihood on his shoulders, to say nothing about a $4 million movie that he had to produce. And man, that's like I said, 26 years old is young. They're in diapers as far as I'm concerned now. And he not only manhandled that, he persevered through and created what is a classic. And I think he's just he's a real elder statesman and a real gentleman of the craft. And I appreciate Spielberg for all the reasons you guys probably do as well. So,
have you ever met him?
Never met him. I got to be honest with you. I've met a lot of celebrities, and I'm pretty calm, cool, and collected. They don't impress me much for whatever reason. I can see the wizard behind the curtain with these celebrities. He's one that I would be dumbstruck. I would be flabbergasted. I would be. I'd probably. Because there's a reverence that I have for him that I don't have for Sydney Sweeney or some actress or actor that I would see today. There's a reverence that I'd have for Spielberg that transcends just normal celebrity. I'm not going to say I deify him, but
no, but I think it's because of respect, because of the fact of the knowledge that we know of, whether it's Jaws, Indiana Jones, Schindler's List. We see how he's matured and what has happened when he makes these films. So it's utmost respect that this has come out of his creativity. So you have nothing to do but just be respectful and do the because you're standing in, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say there's not a word. There is not a word I don't think you can describe. Seriously.
Yeah. I find him to be what you see in interviews. I haven't met the man, so I have to give you that qualifier. But what you see on screen seems to be, or you know, in interviews seems to be who you get in real life. He's not a braggadocious, arrogant.
No,
he's not that guy. He says he's not the guy that goes to Hollywood parties, even though he commands the room. You know.
Yeah, he's very humble.
Yeah,
he's very humble.
So. Very much.
He's very humble, and there's a great interview of him taking a journalist that he's been with before, and he takes him on this golf cart ride.
Yeah, I saw that.
Universal, and he's very humble about everything that he shows him on the lot.
Yeah.
So I agree. Whatever you're going to see is what you're going to get.
So I would get
him on the show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got to get him on the show.
Yeah, make that happen.
You bet. Let me get him on the phone.
You know,
yeah, right.
Listen,
I'm gonna.
Stranger things have happened. We could.
I have a question for Michael.
Yes.
I have a question for Michael, and this has to do with Richard Dreyfuss because I know that you have some connections. I watched some interviews with Richard Dreyfuss, recent interviews within the past couple of years. Is there some acrimony that he has with Spielberg because of the perpetuation of the Shaw debate or the Shaw feud with him? Is there some acrimony there that he has towards him right now?
He just feels that he was made to be the whipping boy.
Yeah.
Because Ian Shaw, the original Shark is Broken play, when it played in England, when it came to Broadway, it had to be longer. So they added a lot of the neurotic stuff and the other stuff with him, and it just hits Richard the wrong way.
Yeah,
it's a fictionalized account, and we never know. Only three people are there that know what really happened, and But
can I add to that? Well, I saw Richard Dreyfuss last year in New Jersey at and they had a jaw screening and a Q&A afterwards, and someone specifically asked him that question, and he said that he's very hurt, and he holds Spielberg and Carl Gottlieb personally responsible for
Yeah.
perpetuating the myth that
Yeah.
he and Robert Shaw were fighting all the time, and he denies that vehemently. He was very, very hurt, and he was kind of angry at Spielberg. And I won't repeat what he said about Spielberg, but he was also very hurt by The Shark is Broken, and he said it was like an open wound watching that. These are
Yeah.
exact
Yeah.
quotes. It was like an open wound when he watched that play.
Yeah.
So he's hurt.
Yeah.
You
I
can
talked to him. I
When
talked
the-
to him once about Robert Shaw, and he started crying.
Yeah.
yeah.
But he
I
really
think
admired the man.
feels
They were going
betrayed.
to
I
do.
think it feels like he's been made out to be the schlub, and it wasn't. And and like you said, how Spielberg changes his tune. If you look at his older interviews, he's like, "Oh yeah, they were fighting all the time," where they were like, there was this thing, and then lately he's changed his tune and made it sound like they got along, a lot better than we thought they did. So
Well, Roy Scheider is on records basically backing Carl Gottlieb and Steven Spielberg about that feud, but it's neither here or there.
Right.
I just know that they I'm sorry, go ahead, Michael.
Remember, they're two different generations and types of actors.
right,
I loved Roy Scheider.
he's terrific.
I love the man. He was good to me, but he's a different type of actor. He wasn't this young group coming up. They were set in their ways. They did everything by the book. They didn't do a lot of improv. David Hamilton, when we had him on the show, talked about when they're doing the scene by the billboard, and Dreyfuss just kind of improvised, and he reached out and he grabbed Murray Hamilton's by the collar and did you're going to line it up for the 4th of July. He was really, yelling at him. And Spielberg yelled cut, and Murray Hamilton ripped him a new one and said, "Don't you ever bleep and do that to me again." But
Really?
that was his acting instinct, and that's what he did. He had been given the freedom to improvise or go with the role, or it wasn't just these other guys that followed the script. It's script, and Shaw and Scheider did a lot of theater beforehand, so that's why they were very script oriented and true to the script. Whereas Dreyfuss did a little bit of theater. He didn't do he did like 7 shows, and they all closed within like a week.
Boy, I would have loved
I saw
that.
him on Broadway and with him and Gene Hackman.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw him with Gene Hackman and Glenn Close and The Maiden. He was great in that.
I would have loved to have seen that footage that you're talking about with Murray Hamilton.
Oh,
And
yeah.
by the way, there's a guy that I just love, Murray Hamilton.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been great footage. That's got to live somewhere. They got to have that somewhere, right? Oh my goodness! I would love to.
They just don't. I mean, I think they keep stuff. Back then, they kept stuff and they kept little scenes, knowing if the film was going to go to television.
Yeah.
We've got to find a way to cut this or to add this if we want it to be a 3-hour block. Whereas, that's why there's no Hancock. The only John Hancock footage that was in the vaults at Universal, and it's now on YouTube, are the shark tests.
Yeah.
That's all they kept. And now they keep every scrap of film because of home video and Blu-rays and DVDs and extras and stuff. There's lots of stuff I've seen.
Can I just say that when it comes to Jaws 2, and I love Jaws 2, it's one of my favorite sequels. It's criminal that they cut that scene with Murray Hamilton voting to keep Brody on. I God bless him, may he rest in peace, but I am so frustrated they cut that scene. That just humanized him. And anyways, okay, my rant's over.
Maybe that's why they cut it. They wanted to retain his nastiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wanted you to dislike him.
Yeah, they wanted to, which is.
Yeah.
I think that every character, that was a redeeming value about him. And anyways, I think I heard from your guys' last podcast with Ross that when that scene came up, didn't you guys talk about that and say that his son, Murray Hamilton's son, is on record saying that his dad was very disappointed that they cut that scene?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm with them on that. I totally agree. But at least we have it for the TV version.
Right.
This is true. Absolutely true. We do have a couple of comments here. I'm just going to pull up if you guys are okay. I apologize to keep jumping in, but we get a lot of comments, and I do want to include saying some pretty nice and relevant things tagging in here. So let's see. Doug's chiming in here, and he's saying, I bugged Mike and RG about whether anyone who was originally around who was originally controlled the shark. If the original box is at Captain Lynn Murphy's house, is there a picture of it anywhere? You know, Todd was talking about this the other week. We had Todd Rebello on about the box still being around. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to look, because when we went out to the boatyard, we all took pictures going with it. I'd have to try to find it. But basically, it was just like a Nintendo. If you see what they have going on at the museum out in LA, where they have the kind of mini shark, that's basically what it was. It was just
what it was. Yeah.
You know, they broke it.
now it's broken.
They broke it.
They broke
the fans broke it.
Showing
Yeah.
it threw up and it broke.
Fans, they were just jiggling it too much and they broke it. Yeah, now
the-
it only,
the-
I think it
Really?
only opens the mouth. Yeah, it
Yeah.
only opens the mouth. Maybe they'll fix it. I'm going
Yeah,
out
I think
there.
they're going to fix it, but
Yeah,
the
but
jaw would
the-
only open and close. It would
Right.
only, but it would do the tail. It would do the head up and down, back and forth.
Yeah,
Now
they
it
broke
only opens up the jaws. So there's too many people going in there just
Yeah.
being rough with it, and it's torn the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
History repeats itself. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
going to bring in barrels next,
I
right?
said that, Val, didn't I said that.
Yeah.
It's going to be like
That's
a
what
kid
I
with the
said.
balloons. It's going to be
I
3
know.
barrels on the end of a rope. Here, you can hold the rope. We'll take a
Just
picture of
pull
it.
it.
Don't touch the
Exactly.
shark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. We got, let's see what else we got here. So Robert talking about, I heard that Lorraine Gary
Oh.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. In fact, she said she had
She
less
did.
in common with him, or was more distant with him than she was the other people on the set.
That
Yeah.
was sad to read.
That's
That was
Jaws.
sad to
Once
read.
again, that's Jaws 2.
Yeah, I would assume, because they
Yeah.
had wonderful chemistry, I
They
thought.
had great chemistry
in the movies.
in the first film. They had fun together. When I interviewed, there's some stuff that people told me for the book when I interviewed them that I didn't use because it would either be embarrassing for others or it didn't fit, the narrative, just the interview stuff. But yeah, they had a great relationship. But then everybody has to remember, Roy Scheider didn't want to be there.
All right.
The only reason he was there is because he was under contract.
Sure.
And but I think he did a great job. He didn't
Did a great job.
he didn't let it affect his work,
Nope,
Yeah.
it's
but
show
he
it off.
wanted to make sure everybody, I've got that, they did 2020, it opened, premiered right before Jaws 2 opened, and I've got the DVD of the show, and he's literally sitting there saying, yeah, I didn't want to do this is blah, 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 blah. He didn't care because, who knew he didn't want to be there, but yeah.
You know, it's funny. In retrospect, he described the movie because I'm always intrigued about Roy Scheider when it comes to Jaws 2. But he described the movie as reputable. That was his
Yes.
word. He said it's a
great
reputable
description.
film.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And from what you see and read, he started out, wanted nothing to do with it, tried to get his way out of it to the point where it almost became fistfights. But it seemed like later on, he was like, okay, I'm on board. Let's make this work. I'm a professional. Let's get through and do this and make this a film, a serious film. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we are well past our hour mark. We're about an hour and a half in, and
Wow.
not that I would have noticed that, but we do want to be considerate of everyone's time. And Ron, we want to definitely be considerate of your time, and thank you for not only agreeing to come on, but spending this much time with us. But not that I want to cut anyone off, but I think we've hit a really good kind of point. We could maybe even open for some more discussion, perhaps at a later time, or if people have comments or questions, I'm sure they could throw them to him or across the page. But before we do anything, first things first, I think is really important here is that Ron, sorry, I'm voguing for Mike. Mike's picking up on that. Is that Ron? Where can we find the book? I see it's advertised on Amazon. Is that primary source for everybody?
you can get it at any online book retailer, Barnes and Noble, you name it. Amazon works. Yeah. Please, I appreciate everybody's support, and I just want to thank you guys at Let's Talk Jaws Live. You guys, I thank you for being such great ambassadors for the film. Thank you for giving me an hour and a half to really hijack your time, and I really do appreciate all that you guys do for the movie and for giving me an opportunity just to come up here and just to talk with you guys, regardless about my book. So, and a special thanks to Michael.
I'm sorry, I'm going to intervene. It's not really hijacking if we invited you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do appreciate that, and you guys,
you're most welcome. Absolutely.
Yeah. And thanks to Michael Smith for going above and beyond and giving me a platform and entertaining my phone calls and helping me out. Much appreciated.
Oh, my pleasure.
Make sure you join our TikTok page.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not on TikTok just yet, but I guess that means I'm an old fogey.
I'll send you an invite.
I'm learning that
Because
myself.
I'm a wonderful guest. I love it. Thank you.
See, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, Ron, we want to thank you very much for hanging on. We're going to just do a little quick plug for one or two of our most recent social media things. But Ron, I want to thank you. Please hang on if you want to. If you've got things to do, got to go. Please,
I do got to run. I do have to run, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Okay.
Thank you for your time, Ron.
We'll have being here.
Boobity. That was a great interview, huh?
Great guy.
That was a great show, man.
Really good guy. Yeah. I talked to him for like 45 seconds in Edgartown. It was like a rainy afternoon or something like that. And I happened to pop into the bookstore, and it was just quick. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice guy. Yeah, easy guy to talk to. Yeah, but we also have two other things we want to share with everyone here right before we wrap up, and that is some of our recent, if I can get it up on here. Let's see if I can get it up on here. Here we go. Okay. So we've had some recent additions to the Let's Talk Jaws Live and Jaws 50 page, and one of which is we're now on TikTok. I don't know how to use it yet, but damn it, we're on TikTok. So here we are. So, and we owe a huge thank you to our newest member here, Val Capone. Not only, has really come forth and really been a big proponent and for lack of a better term, guy kind of behind the scenes cheering us on the entire time. But I talked to Val, the week, and I said, hey, you seem like you got it together with TikTok and stuff. Would you be interested? He said, I've been thinking about talking to you. I've been thinking about kind of doing that. And on top of that, took his own page and simply let us crash it. Let us crash this page into our TikTok page.
You didn't crash it because before posting the Richard Dreyfuss video, I had 17 followers. And because of that video, I got almost 1,700. So it's thanks to you guys. So why not, right? Thanks, Robert. Yeah. So
part of the fam. There it is. He's part of the family now. That's it.
Well, Val is the CEO of Let's Talk Jaws Live. I offer you the unpaid position of director of social media.
Hey,
there you go.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure.
Yeah, really, Val, so much.
Fun. It's actually fun, man. Spreading the word of Jaws, man, and you guys. I mean, if I hadn't come to that podcast, this never would have happened. So I just made, it was fortuitous, and I'm, honored to have met you guys and be part of the family now. It's great.
And I don't know how you do it, but damn it, you snake your way into every freaking Jaws 50 picture I have seen since June. Val is next to you, name it, and it's Val. It's every single picture.
So damn handsome. I gotta get in there somewhere, Yeah. Thank you.
And wait a second. And your wife is extremely happy that you now finally have some friends to hang out with and talk with. Look at that. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, really.
Hi, Christy, come here.
Joking aside, Val, we really do. I saw you had been on the pages, and I had seen your name and posts and things. I didn't really meet you until we were on the island,
right?
And next thing you know, I was running into you just about every other day, and so I just really want to thank you for your charisma, your effort. Yeah, you got a great attitude, and you're willing to kind of jump in there. And it's hard to find people.
Anytime you need me to fill a slot, I'm there for you, man.
Awesome. Well, absolutely. You will always be definitely included with things. So keep that in mind. Yeah,
Mr.
Absolutely.
TikTok.
Mr. TikTok is
Janie loves everything I post. She's comments on everything. So love you, Janie. Thank you.
Love you,
That's
man.
awesome.
We got to spread the word. We
That's
need
right.
some. We need some more family members, I believe.
Right.
We really do, and I'm trying to muddle my way through and figure it all out. But we're getting there. But he makes it easy. It's all there.
I think my sister is on the TikTok one as well, so I think she's joined.
Oh, well, I know. I was
Very
telling Nate
nice.
before that Casey, his daughter, Richard Dreyfuss's daughter, and his wife both joined a following.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh,
So-
Mark is on there. Okay.
They actually texted Svetlana, I think her name is, right?
Yeah.
I told
Svetlana,
her,
yeah.
tell
Svetlana.
Richard, thanks again for the hat.
That is awesome. And also, we've also have made a small showing over to Spotify. I just we just opened up on Spotify on Sunday. And honestly, kind of testing the waters with it to see where it's going to go. Not a ton of changes because, to be honest with you, they're live shows, and so for the most part, we're trying to leave them live. And so, I don't know, at least to us, I think some of the fun and some of the magic happens to be what happens live.
I
So
was checking it out today. It was it was pretty smooth. I never used Spotify, so I downloaded it specifically for this, and I was listening to some of the old shows. The theme song is a nice little theme song.
it really, yeah,
for it, So
Yeah,
spread,
Matt.
spread the word there too.
yeah, Matt wrote that for us, and right now, as of now, I believe there's 10 episodes. So primarily looking at just like interview episodes. This episode will end up being on there. So it was I'm slowly trying to kind of get the head of that and trying to do some editing, and we are going to continue to put some across there and see how that does there, just to make ourselves a little more available. So if you got sick of us before, or it's just going to get worse, just saying. Yeah, it's going to get ugly now. Yeah.
Slowly
One of
taking
my
over the
favorites.
world.
I love this one.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's a great one. I did not see that one.
And this big bucket too. I bought 3
I've
sets.
got the tin, yeah, but
there's
I
two
did not
tins.
see.
I didn't know there were 2 tins. There's 2. There's one.
Oh,
with,
is there?
There's one with the billboard, and then there's this one. I didn't know there were 2.
I've seen the one with the
Oh, I didn't
billboard. The
either.
billboard one's pretty
I
cool.
wanted the one with the
Yeah.
billboard, but
Yeah.
Did you
And then
see
the
the
plastic.
popcorn box? It's the shark cage.
Yes, I've seen it. Is it AMC that does it?
Oh,
no,
AMC.
I bought everything from AMC. They never had the pail in stock. I got this.
Maybe it's Regal. I don't know.
I got the pail at Regal, and they had a bunch.
So
The pail and the pail and this together was $30. Not bad.
Yeah,
That's not
bad
bad
at
because
all.
we had gotten.
I think
Yeah, we got the pail and sent it to
I hadn't
Toby.
seen this
Remember?
one. Look at this thing.
I
Remember
love
the
that.
the English young movie maker that was over there?
Yes.
Toby Curran?
We sent him the we sent he
Toby.
and his mom were there.
Toby.
Yeah.
Toby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we bought the pail and sent we mailed the pail because he was
Oh,
like,
wow.
I can't get any stuff. And I said, you know what? You give me your information. I mean, he hung out with me like 3 or 4 nights, and I said, you give me your information and we will get you one.
He
'Cause he
just
said
finished
none of
filming his first feature film. He just finished making it.
Yeah.
And he's in
Yeah.
post-production on it. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he did a little short film that is terrific. And it's available on his page, and it's a little short film of World War One. It's like 8 minutes long. Really impressive. So check it out. Shout
And
out to Toby.
this was the kid that we met when we were at Black Dog, Nate. His mom was there. And she
Yes,
came up to him.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
He was when Richard Dreyfuss came in at the museum too. He was with us there.
Yes, he was there. Yeah. Yeah.
Shout
It
out
was
to
his
they were-
birthday. It was his birthday
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah, it was exactly.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was his birthday. You're right. Good memory. Yeah.
Birthday.
Yeah. So, well, all right, guys, we are well past our bedtime,
It was an
but
epic show.
wonderful night, great guests, and as always, thank you, great group of people, and I say that lovingly and narcissistically, but it's the truth. I love hanging out with you guys every week. You guys at home are a part of that. That's what I say when I say you guys or us or we or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. It's the whole Jaws family. So yeah. So Robert's telling us right now. So let's get some fins up here, guys.
Yeah.
Hands
And
up.
fins up,
And
and
I
we're
can
gonna
do
let
it now. I have my computer up and running. I'm so happy.
we'll let
It's
Quinn
not a
take us
one-
out.
Yeah.
Everyone, please have a wonderful weekend. There you
I
go.
love the
I
bottle.
broke my damn bottle of the red. That's all I'm gonna say.
No.
Oh,
Hey, Nate,
it
I got
fell
you
and
covered,
broke.
buddy. I got you covered.
I still have the white. No, don't worry
I
about
have
that.
I have like 10 bottles, dude. I'll take care of you. Don't worry.
My address is 5214.
They sell them here in Jersey. I think I can still get them in Jersey here. So.
I
Yeah, they
can't
got them
find them
over
in
in
Tennessee.
there's a whole shelf of them in here in Kansas City. I went to a wine store because Terry Bradshaw was there signing his bourbon, and I was going to have him sign my Black Sunday DVD, but he was only signing bourbon. You know, when I left, I just said, "You got any Jaws wine?" Yeah, they got the red, and they've got like the blue, whatever the
Yeah, the
blue.
blue spritzer.
Yeah, the blue
I didn't
spritzer.
see anyone in see. Yeah.
So you don't have spritzer or red wine?
I don't have the
nothing.
spritzer. I only have.
Okay.
I had the red and white, and I have the box. The box is completely decorated. Like
Yes.
when I walked into the store, they saw the hook in my mouth. I was like, I'll take
You wanted
I'll
$20
take
for
the red
that
and I'll
box.
take the white. Yeah, $10 they charge
Just
me
for
for
the
that damn
box, you
box.
wanted
You believe
$20.
That's a beautiful
$20.
box.
20
Oh, I got
bucks
lucky then.
at the liquor store on Martha's Vineyard. I go, can I have the box? It goes, I can give you the empty box. It's $20.
Oh, he charged me 10.
Okay, well, you saw me coming.
Sorry. Yeah. Well,
Who needs spritzer? Who needs spritzer? Raise your hand.
I'll take a spritzer.
I'll take a spritzer.
All right. Orange whip. Orange whip. Orange whip. Okay. And who needs red wine? Who needs red wine?
No, I'm good with a spritzer. You're not getting both. No.
Okay.
No, thank you
Yeah.
guys. I just
That's funny.
When I got back from the vineyard, one of my employees, like a 22-year-old kid, he came in carrying one of the boxes, and he goes, and they had wine. He goes, but I just got you this because I ain't buying no man wine. I said, okay, thanks. But he got me the spritzer. Okay.
Anybody taste it?
Wine,
I haven't opened it. Have you tasted it? Anybody opened it?
No.
and tasted it?
I don't drink.
no, mine shattered on the floor of my garage, sadly.
It's like I just bought the Jaws 50th anniversary LP. I don't even have a record player, but I bought that LP from Mondo.
Merry
Video.
Christmas. That's what you're getting.
Beautiful, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to let Quinn take us out, guys. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Great seeing you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Hey.
Val.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being a part, Val. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For
Hey, look, Happy
we've
Gilmore, too.
received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
Have a wonderful evening, guys.
Take care,
Bye, guys.
guys.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Cheers.
I gotta go.